So this is notes for the next blog post on brain garbage. I must write about SAS as an investor AB company. SAS Scandinavian Airlines were responsible for 4 laptops stolen from Julian Assange. I believe it was in October, and he was on his way elsewhere in Europe, and the flight he was being monitored on with some agents working for the US government who promptly took as luggage. And SAS being a Wallenberg family corporation, it kind of rounds it all out a little bit differently than we realize. Also worthy of note is the persecution Bjorn Hurtig is experiencing legally in terms of his bar certification, as he was a court-appointed lawyer, and then now his whole career is being undermined by his service to the criminal law justice system as the rules are played out here. So that is very dirty. And then I visited Family Foundation Asset Management and spoke to Lars, and I will go back onto their website and probably see him again. His entire upper lip was turning red. I was completely causing his face to turn red. I'm not quite sure why, but I said, well, is this per Swedish business norms? I wrote an email, nobody responded. They gave me a dead email, it bounced back. I wrote emails to everybody else, nobody else is responding. How do I, he said, go to Investor AB. I said, I went there, their door was locked. I went there the other day, they gave me a dead email. I'm here to speak to you guys. And I was like, well, speak to Investor AB. And I started to realize some of the circuitry that is being showed in terms of who called it Patricia Holding, or what kind of name it was. Basically was hiding FAM from Investor AB in terms of they are being owned by FAM. So that was somewhat interesting. And then I was going to walk away, but I realized, well, maybe I should take his advice. So I go to Investor AB again. The receptionist who I spoke with before is sitting behind a glass wall at a computer, looking quite terrifyingly stern. Maybe she was just crunching some numbers or something. But I repeatedly looked over at her, and the person who she had sent forward asked me my name and seemed to be a little bit more kind of shy and bumbling and less competent to deal with my questions. I said, this is a press inquiry regarding the Securities and Exchange Commission filing. I read it yesterday. And that's what I also told Lars over at FAM. And I had to buzz, he actually buzzed me in the door, came up more slowly by the elevator. I was already at the door talking to the box. He said there are only 4 people inside FAM, and that Investor AB has maybe 200 employees, but he has only 4. So talking it out is helping me remember more details, but the whole exchange was under a minute, I would assume it was, or maybe under 2 or 3 minutes. It was quite short and brief, and I asked him for a comment. I asked him whether or not he would interview, that this is a press inquiry, that I'm a law student, and he repeatedly 2 or 3 times asked me, but what is your objective? What is your point? And I said, well, I'm a very complex person. I have many points. For instance, I have a human rights art foundation, and I'm interested in allocating art to families who can demonstrate their commitment to human rights. And so, and also and he said, well, go back to Investor AB. They have PR teams, they have legal teams. We're only 4 people here. So I think, I'm not quite too sure, but I was trying to get to the point with him that I'm also interested in a very interesting opportunity to learn more about Swedish law. So if, for instance, his legal department could hook me up with an internship, I'd be much obliged. So, I think I was talking completely way too fast for him too, which is generally the case with everyone besides Kalle Leidbrand, who's quite brilliant. I wonder if there will be a block put on my name face, or how they will deal with that, or if they're getting a lot of visits. And when I spoke to Kevin Zeese this morning, he found it quite interesting that a non-affiliated, non-anonymous person had paid a visit to their Stockholm office the day of the filing. That was just absolutely incredible. So now it's the 7th of April, and someone has paid their office a visit again, and that's Arsenalsgatan 4 third floor, and then Arsenalsgatan 8C. Nothing to it. Lars was actually quite kind of welcoming and nice. I think in another lifetime he'd be like that guy flirting with you over a beer at the bar. But he just happens to work for this reprehensible company that's stealing WikiLeaks laptops and has ties to highest-ranking Swedish criminal law, if you can call it that, Bodström and Borgström, and then is completely willing to send fighter jets to Libya, grenades, implicated in massive corruption with hedge fund, problem with Virgin SEBs, like in big trouble, and then also this bribes in Mexico, bribes to doctors for pharmaceuticals, bribes in Iraq, the oil for food scandal. I guess there's kind of like a big deal basically in terms of corruption. I mean, not a big deal. I don't think anything's a big deal. I could look Karl Rove in the face and ask him the same question: what's your commentary on the recent emerging scandal? And for as much as they'd like to say off with their head, they can judge anything they want up about me. They can judge absolutely anything they want up about me. That I'm a lesbian, that I'm a communist, or whatever. Because my generation